Mr. President,
The senator from Oregon.
I ask unanimous consent that the quorum call be dispensed with.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today I'm introducing two pieces of legislation to address the very heart of our economic crisis, the housing market and the deceptive lending practices that have placed millions of homes at risk of foreclosure. In the last few years, millions of families were led into unsustainable home mortgages that pushed our country into an economic crisis unprecedented in our lifetimes. Instead of fulfilling a dream and contributing to a secure financial future, home mortgages have too often become a vehicle for stripping wealth from working Americans. These two bills, the Transparency for Homeowners Act and the Promoting Mortgage Responsibility Act, will put an end to the deceptive and unfair mortgage practices that played a pivotal role in tricking American families to accept risky and unsustainable mortgages. Two key factors drew families into these mortgages that paved the way for this recession. First, steering payments. Steering payments were paid to brokers who enticed unsuspecting homeowners into deceptive and expensive mortgages. These secret bonus payments, often called yield spread premiums, turned home mortgages into a scam. A family would go to a mortgage broker for advice in getting the best possible loan. The family would trust the broker to give advice because, quite frankly, they were paying the broker for that service. But what the borrower did not realize was that the broker would earn thousands of bonus dollars from the lender if the broker could convince the homeowner to take out a high-priced mortgage, such as one with an exploding interest rate, rather than a plain vanilla 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. The second factor is prepayment penalties. Prepayment penalties added insult to injury. After the homeowner realized that they had been steered into an unsustainable mortgage, they soon discovered that a large prepayment penalty made it too costly for them to refinance to a more affordable loan. They were locked into that first destructive loan that they had not fully understood when it was presented. This scam has had a tremendous impact. A study for the Wall Street Journal found that 61% of the subprime loans originated in 2006, that's 61%, originated in 2006, went to families who qualified for prime loans. So more than half the borrowers who qualified for a prime loan ended up with a subprime loan because of these steering payments, putting millions of American families at risk. This is simply wrong. A publicly regulated process designed to create a relationship of trust between families and brokers, but that leaves borrowers unaware of payments that take place, putting them into expensive and destructive mortgages. I call your attention to a New York Times editorial published on April 9th entitled "Predatory Brokers." This editorial highlighted the problem. The Times concluded that, and I quote, "The first step must be to outlaw the kickbacks that lenders pay brokers for steering clients into costlier loans." The editorial went on to say that, quote, "The most clearly unethical form of payment is the so-called yield spread premium." My friends, it's difficult to overstate the damage that has been done by these practices. An estimated 20,000 Oregon families will lose their homes to foreclosure in 2009. Nationwide, an estimated 2 million families will lose their homes this year, and the total of foreclosed families is predicted to reach 9 million by 2012. The legislative solutions that I propose are very simple. The bills I'm introducing today will ensure that these practices do not again haunt the mortgage business in America. First, the Transparency for Homeowners Act ends secret steering payments to lenders to lead homeowners into deceptive mortgages they cannot afford over the long term. And second, the Promoting Mortgage Responsibility Act prohibits lenders from issuing costly financial penalties that prevent homeowners from refinancing into a more affordable loan. It's simple: an end to steering payments and an end to prepayment penalties. And we should recognize that not only have these practices damaged the financial foundations for our families, millions of families at the retail level, turning the American dream of homeownership into an American nightmare, but these practices, which resulted in a huge surge in subprime lending, these practices set the stage for the disaster that is still unfolding on Wall Street and crippling economies around the world. My legislation will restore transparency to the mortgage lending process and help make homeownership a stable investment for families once again. The time has come for us to make sure that secret steering payments and paralyzing prepayment penalties never again haunt American families. Let's restore the American dream of homeownership. Thank you, Mr. President. And I suggest the absence of a quorum.